guys, this is our final chapter. We're going to talk about managing your mental and physical health. And really, what that means is we're going to talk about managing your stress. But let's talk about some basics, right? So, mental illnesses, some of these can be depression, loneliness, eating disorders, anxiety disorders, suicidal behavior. This, of course, is a very small list. This is not a comprehensive list. These are the ones that studies show are the most common among college students. We are going to talk about managing some of the symptoms, maybe, and managing the stress. Once it gets to the point, if you already have a diagnosed illness or if you suspect that you do, this is where we will refer you, and I will show you some resources in this slide where you can get help for that, because that's going to be outside the scope of what I can do for you in a classroom. And I'm not just talking about medication. I'm talking about you might need some more personalized or deeper coping strategies than what we can cover in one lecture. Strategies to support your mental health, and support is the key word there. It is not to fix you. It is not to make you better. It is to help manage our symptoms, help manage and support what we are going through. Some of these, we hear these regularly, and I know I've heard them too. Of course, eating a balanced diet affects how you physically feel, which is going to affect how you mentally feel. So try to keep that balanced diet. Try to get enough sleep, not too much, not too little. What works for you so that you can be productive. Regular physical activity, and this does not mean that you need to regularly run a marathon. This means take a walk, right? It doesn't have to be something super heavy. It just has to get you moving. Staying socially connected with friends and family, whatever that looks like for you. Whether right now we're doing Zoom, Google Meets, things like that, phone calls. When it's able to visit again, going and seeing people and building that in. When we talk about a study plan, self-care should be in there. So if there's somebody that you want to talk to regularly, make sure you build in time for that. You don't have to exclude them. You just have to find that balance. Of course, make smart choices about alcohol and drugs. You're not going to find a lot of cases out there that are going to be pro alcohol and drugs to help you get through school, not in a mentally healthy way. The ones that you'll hear about it and you'll see are things that just drain you as a person, as a student, and they're honestly, they're bad choices. There's no way to make that work for your life. I'm not talking about a drink here or there. I'm talking about heavy alcohol use, heavy drug use. All of those are going to just deteriorate you mentally. And then, of course, getting help if you're anxious and depressed, and we'll have a slide for that because we've talked about this in the test prep. There is what typically that looks like, and there's ways to cope and manage that. And then there are disorders that get outside of what we can cope and manage, and that's when we need to get to help. And sometimes we need that help regularly, and sometimes we just need that help when we feel like we're in crisis mode, and both of those are okay options, and you just need to get that help and know where to get it. So when it's more than stress, like I said, more than what we can handle in the classroom, there are definitely places for you to go. So you will see, we have a link for you. You can talk to one of our licensed counselors, and that is a free service for you through ACC. If you feel like that's not the right call, there's different prevention lines. My recommendation right now for you is to take a picture of this slide with your phone. This is what I have you do in class. And the reason I have it is because right now you might look at it and be like, oh, that's cool. And then maybe next semester or a year from now, you might need one of these numbers. Maybe you need it for you, maybe you need it for a friend. So just take a picture and have it available to you. Signs and effects of stress can be everything. All of these on here. Everything from anger. I get real short-tempered when I'm stressed, definitely. Having trouble sleeping. It can change, increase, decrease your appetite. All of these things can affect stress, and these are important that we pay attention to. This is our body telling us that we are not managing our stress, and that we need to do something. That's the first sign, is our body saying, whoa, I'm not sleeping and I don't feel like eating, something is wrong. And then we go into our self-regulation strategies. What's going on with us? Is there a personal issue we need to manage? Are we not effectively using our balance, and we're studying, but we've cut all of our self-care out? What's going on, and how can you work through it? Of course, avoid drugs and alcohol. There's no, like I said, there's no good path to abusing drugs and alcohol. Again, if you're 21, because I have to say that, a beer here or there, a glass of wine with dinner is not what I'm talking about. I know for me that having a glass of wine with dinner here or there is actually one of the ways I manage stress. Now, having a bottle of wine with dinner is a bad call, and that's not going to be helpful. So we're talking about being responsible, everything in moderation with it. Managing your time, of course, building in that study, that's the easiest way to keep that stress level down because you have those things built in. Remember when we go back to the Covey quadrant and we have the things that are in crisis, but if I've been studying regularly for my exam and I have a crisis that hits a day or two before the exam that I have to deal with and I don't have time to study, I'm going to feel more confident about the exam because maybe I'm not, I didn't study as much as I wanted, and maybe I don't have all the knowledge that I wanted, but I can probably get a passing score because of all the time I've built in before because I've had to just manage that crisis. And that sometimes you have that. I know for me also when I would write a paper, I was in school with a baby, an infant, not infant, toddler and younger. And so I would write my papers early because she's a ticking time bomb. I never knew when she was going to throw a fever at me or, be teething or something was going to go happen that was going to take up my night. So I wrote my papers early because I'd rather turn in a terrible draft and get a grade than get the zero. Find support, whether your support is a professor or a tutor that can help you. Your support can just be that person that you can call and vent to, and maybe that's what you need. It's just somebody to get it all out with and talk a little smack for a little bit so you can go back to concentrating. Find that support. What does it look like for you? We talked about connecting socially. In that video before, she talked about people had lower stress levels when they were involved, when they had other people that they were caring for and working with. Slow down and cut out those distractions. So if your phone is a source of stress because you're constantly watching notifications or text messages, turn it off. Turn it off so that you can focus on what you need to. Any of those kinds of things, and then slowing down. Sometimes we get too many things on our plate and we just try to rush through all of them, and that just increases the stress. And then, of course, take care of your health, and that's going to be different from all of you. Everything from that diet. If you have something that you're managing, making sure you're staying on, whatever meds or whatever things that your doctor recommends, it's going to help you feel better and feel healthy.